For about a year now, me and Giada have been living in Ireland, and it all started when we had to replace our broken engine in Italy. It was so expensive that we decided that we had to go somewhere and work and make some money again. In the end, we chose Ireland. It's part of the EU, English is the main spoken language, and the minimum wage is actually the second best in all of Europe in 2024, only behind Luxembourg. Financially, it has been very good for us. We worked as bartenders in this pub called Bleeding Horse, and we saved an average of 1,500 euros every single month, each, despite the fact that we were getting minimum wage. And that is because we never really had to pay rent. Even though the process went very smoothly, it hadn't been easy. We had no idea how to legally start working in Ireland, even though it's part of the EU. I can't speak for all countries in the world or even countries outside of the European Union, so you gotta do your own research if what I say here does not apply to your own situation. Now, Europeans have the right to live and work anywhere that they like within the borders of the EU, of course, but you can't just get there and get a job. No, you need the following things. Number one, a physical address. And I'm not sure the address needs to be in the country you want to work in, as many people work in Luxembourg or, for example, they might live outside of its borders in countries like France, Belgium, or even Germany. I guess that changes from country to country in the EU, but nevertheless, you need an address. What I should suggest is to rent an address until you have the right to work in the country, and then you can just go back to living inside the van. That's what we did. Number two, a bank account. As I've mentioned before, you don't necessarily have to open a bank account with those most established companies out there. As a pirate, I imagine that you don't want to spend too long in one place. So it's useful to also have an international online bank card that you can use all around the world like Revolut. One downside to it is that you can't deposit cash in your account. Number three, an identification document. You need a passport or an European ID card, but that's pretty obvious. I'm not gonna get any more into this. Number four, a job. Yeah, at least in Ireland, you need a job to be able to get a job. The way it works is that your future employer needs to sign a letter that proves your employment. Number five, a fiscal code. In Ireland, it's called a PPS number, and you can get one by gathering documents proving your identity, your address, and employment. Now, once you have a fiscal code, you are legally allowed to start working in that specific EU country. To get a job, write a one-page CV and deliver from door to door. It's a numbers game, guys. Try and present yourself well, but more importantly, deliver as many CVs as you can, okay? Now, here are some tips that I can give you for living in a van and having a job in a city. The first one, obviously, is about parking. If you want to work in a city like I did, you got to be aware of where you can park and where you can't. In Ireland, you always have signs identifying paid parking spots, and they're all around the urban parts of the town. The good thing is that many of them become free during the night and also during weekends. Truth is, we've been clamped a few times before we realized how to navigate the situation smartly. First, we never slept in a paid parking spot if it wasn't the weekend the next day. Secondly, we kept changing where we parked, like different roads, blocks, etc. Third, we had a safe and free location to park down in the more suburban areas of Dublin, and we used to come back there every night to sleep. Now, this practice helped us live inside a van for 10 months in Dublin, having a 40-hour work week. And after we learned, we never got clamped again. Now, there's the issue with showering, right? And that's actually pretty easy to solve. Just get a gym membership and you can stay healthy while having the possibility to shower whenever you want. And you can also use the toilets to take a shit, which is better than in a park in the middle of the city. Even though the latter can happen sometimes, and it has. Groceries are easy. They can be just bought normally in supermarkets like Lidl or Aldi. LPG gas for cooking and heating can be found in some gas stations if it's a big enough city. And water can be found in any camping places, to be honest. Which, speaking of camping places, that's the number one option for us to recharge the batteries of the van. Back when we were still working in the Bleeding Horse, we used to go to a camping place once a week, and that cost us about 100 euros a month, which is pretty good, to be honest. Now, as I'm gonna explore more deeply in a later video, you can order and collect parcels in delivery lockers all around you, if your country has a service similar to Opod. Now, I'll keep updating this video if I can remember other tips about working in the city while you're living in a van. But for now, I'll see you in the next lesson.